Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm always tempted I'm going to show my age if I do this, but there was a film from Robin Williams, I guess it was maybe back in the 90s, that was called Good Morning Vietnam. I won't spoil the plot for you, pretty self-evident, but when he was this radio host anyway, and he was on an army base, and he led this radio station for all of the guys in the army. And every time he opened his show, he would go, "Good morning, Vietnam." And it was like a big thing at the time. So every time I open this up, I feel I need to shout that. But clearly, very few of you will be in Vietnam, and so it will make no sense. And I would imagine a whole bunch of you have never watched Good Morning Vietnam, and therefore you would think I was a complete crazed lunatic. So I'm not going to do that. And I think I lost like half of my viewers through that. So hello, everybody, whoever's still here and hasn't abandoned me. It's getting worse. Hello, welcome to the Amazon interview with weekly Q&A, which is going to be a little bit different this week. If you have spotted any of my advertising, you'll know we're going to play things a little bit differently this week than we usually do. But as always, we have to wait for everybody or whoever's going to show up to show up. So whilst we do this, I like for people to say hello to me, tell me where you're from. And we've been doing this thing about the temperature outside because I've become obsessed with how cold it is now becoming in the UK in the end of October. So I love people to tell me where they are and what temperature it is so that I can live vicariously through them. So please tell me, where are you tuning in from? And also let me know if this is your first time here, because if it is, I would like to welcome you properly, and tell me what temperature it is where you are. Whilst you're doing that, I'm just going to turn on my ring light here to try and just improve the light, because the sun is setting. As you can clearly see, there's a line behind me here where the sun is setting, and very quickly it will end up there. So let me just turn on this light. Where are you from? Right, hopefully that's marginally better. So Siddharth, sorry, I added an A to the end of your name, apologies. Washington, DC, 23 degrees. Nice, nice. I'm at about 12, I think. Who else do we have? Michael from, Saskatchewan. Have I pronounced that right? I'm so sorry if I've brutalized that. Regina, I'm sure I've got that right. Talha, hopefully I've got that one right as well. Oh, you know Good Morning Vietnam. It's such an amazing film, isn't it? It's kind of, I guess it's of a generation, but Robin Williams is so talented. He's such a terrible loss to the world. He was so talented, and definitely that was one of my favorites of his, along with Mrs. Doubtfire, who well, we just kill ourselves laughing every time at that one. Okay, so anybody else there want to tell us where you are from, or indeed your favorite Robin Williams film, seeing as we've evolved onto Robin Williams films? I'm sorry, it's always a bit random, the start of this session, whilst I wait for people to show up. So sorry, I tend to be a bit random. I've got one of these minds that kind of leaps from one concept to another once I've caught interest on something else. Okay. Oh, it's the first time you've made it, Talha, because of the timings in New York. Oh, I'm glad you made it. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it. Oh, you like Mark and Mindy, Siddharth? Yeah. I mean, I like the braces. Braces. What would they be? Suspenders. Yeah, that's suspenders, right? In the US, if you've got those things going on here, it's different. Suspenders in the UK are things that you use to hold up your stockings, and I had some very funny incidents with some US colleagues when I was working in the London office, because I used to like wearing what we would call braces, and he walked past me and said very loudly, "I like your suspenders." And of course, the majority of everyone else in the office, well, I suppose the majority of people in the office were British. So when you hear someone say something like that, it takes on an entirely different meaning. And he was mortified, bless him. Jeremy was his name. So if you're watching, Jeremy, I still remember. Anyway, I'm sure he's not watching because he works at Amazon, so he wouldn't need to be here with me today. Oh, Good Will Hunting, that's another amazing one. Ah, yeah. Okay, who else have we got? Oh, we've got our Dev from East Tennessee. Ah, you're at 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh, very gel here in the UK. So for any Europeans that we have, so we need to take away 30 from that. So that takes us to 40 degrees, and then we have to half it, which takes us to 20 degrees. So that's nice. I think I'm at about 12 here, so I would definitely take your 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Low Monk has arrived. I bet you're glad I did that translation of Fahrenheit to centigrade for you then, because now you're on the same page, because I know you're in Europe. So lovely to see you. Welcome. We've got Diane Green from Las Vegas, 77. I'm getting on a flight to Vegas. I mean, I've always wanted to go to Vegas anyway, but I'm definitely getting on a flight to Vegas now. Okay, so we've had a few more people show up. Please do as you arrive. Chanel, hello, lovely to see you again. As people arrive, I will try and say hello. But let me just frame, oh, Nathan, hey Nathan, nice to see you. Let me frame up how I'm gonna do today, because it's gonna be a little bit different. And then I will give you my intro, and then I'll probably have to say again what we're going to do today, because we'll have a few more people arrive. But based on some requests that I had on a session that I did a few weeks ago, hey Paul A, where I did live job description reviews, I put that video up and it's been very, very popular, and I had some people ask me on previous lives whether I would run another one. So I put out a poll, asked if anybody wanted it, and yes, apparently people did want me to do live job description reviews. So that's what we're going to do today. It makes me incredibly nervous. It's one of those things that could just go horribly, horribly wrong, but people seem to like it, and it's a very, very valuable skill. So I'm going to try and do that live again now. So whilst I do my intro, please, if you don't have your job ID ready to hand, go get it. What I want you to do is give me your job ID number and your job title, so the job name that the advert has in it, and post it in the comments. And what I'll then do is just try and pick a couple that I think are diverse enough to help people see how you can go through exactly the same process and still get for a completely different job and still get the results that you're looking for. So please go away and do that now. Grab yourself your job ID and the job title. And whilst you're doing that, I will do my intro. So I am Gigi, and I am the Amazon Interview Whiz. I was a senior leader at Amazon for quite a number of years. As with everybody at Amazon, I was also an interviewer. I was a hiring manager. I had a team of about 24 people, which is quite a big team in Amazon for a L7, which is what I was. And most specifically, I was a bar raiser. So a bar raiser is the person who ultimately gets to make the decision as to whether to hire someone or not hire someone. It's a big simplification, but that's ultimately where the buck stops. Difference between the experience of a bar raiser versus a normal interviewer or a recruiter is you get to do interviews across the complete breadth of the organization. So I got to do tech and non-tech. I got to do all sorts of different job families. I got to do many, many different countries across the world. If you're a recruiter, you tend to only be involved in talking to people who are applying for roles within your specialty. Or if you are just a standard Amazon hiring manager or interviewer, you're going to be interviewing really only for your skill set, or maybe a team that are in a different skill set but adjacent to yours. So if you're in finance, maybe you'll do 1 or 2 marketing interviews because you work with a marketing team or a product team or whatever, supply chain team, whatever it is. But you get a quite narrow view of the world. If you're a bar raiser, you see it all. Absolutely. So having been a bar raiser, I have a perspective on the Amazon interview process that anybody who wasn't a bar raiser just wouldn't get. I know exactly what it takes to get hired at Amazon, and I have personally given the go to hire hundreds of Amazonians. After leaving Amazon, I created my own little Amazon interview preparation ecosystem. I have a personal mission to make Amazon expertise like mine accessible to everyone. It can easily cost you thousands of dollars to get interview preparation of the caliber of mine. In fact, even less caliber than mine. I didn't think that was very fair, so I created this whole ecosystem, my YouTube channel, 3 hours of very specific action-orientated content that you can use, and many people do manage to get jobs just by using my YouTube channel. LinkedIn, I post regularly, and I have my own little Amazon interview preparation academy where I offer digital courses that are incredibly affordable and will tell you everything you need to know to land your job at Amazon. Obviously, YouTube channel, this is my live. This is a free kind of thing that I do. I usually charge $50 to do this on a one-on-one basis. So anybody that gets it reviewed today is saving themselves $50. If you would like to have me review your job description for you after you see the magic today, please just check on the details of this link where I will drop in where you can go and place a request for me to do that for you. All right, so yeah, I think that's it. I don't need to tell you anything else. People are starting to drop their job IDs and their job titles in the comments here. So why don't I pick one up and we can start going. I'll probably only do a few, and then I will open up to Q&A at the end, because I know some people wouldn't have known that this is what I was doing with this session. So I will do a couple and then we'll do Q&A at the end. So why don't we just get going? Oh, it makes me so nervous doing this. All right, so what have we got? So I'm gonna let me do this one for you, Talha, a senior program manager in supply chain for Amazon Fresh Grocery. I'm going to do this one because I used to work for Amazon Fresh Grocery, although the physical stores. So, hey, this is a little walk down memory lane for me. And I worked with a whole bunch of people on the supply chain. So let me just, found it on the Amazon jobs page. Now let me try and share my screen for you. Hopefully this will work. There we go. Let me see if I can make it full screen. There we go. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. Let me just make sure I can exit the full screen again. I can. Great. Right, let's do that again. Okay, so we're here now. You can all see my screen. There's no point in commenting now because I can't see your comments. So I'm just going to go straight into this now. And when I've finished, I'll pop out and I will see your comments again. So just so that you know how this is going to play out. So let's have a look at this. So we are looking for a dynamic, self-starting senior supply chain program manager. Okay, so there's a really important word in this sentence, which is self-starting. So what this is suggesting to me is that I'm looking for someone, assuming I wrote this job description, I'm looking for someone who's going to be a really good owner. Because if I put the word self-starting in there, it means that I believe that as a hiring manager, I'm not going to be able to wrap this person up in cotton wool and be really close to them and provide them tons and tons of guidance and support. This is a big, big clue. The first 1, 2, 3, 4, sixth word in the job description tells you I'm going to need you to get on with it yourself effectively. So ownership, ding on this one. All right, so let's keep going. To help introduce new categories, okay, of products for Amazon grocery distribution centers, fine. So this role will identify opportunities to reduce cost. Okay, so reducing cost and improving quality, lead time, and overall supply chain performance. Right, so this is talking to me about frugality. So the leadership principle, frugality, it's not about being cheap and doing everything on the cheap. It's about the concept of doing more with less. It's not about compromising on quality, or maybe you might have to make some compromise, but it's not about doing it on the cheap. It's about finding ways to do more with less. So there we go. Within the first 2 lines, we've got ownership and we've got frugality. All right. Now we've also got within that frugality, actually, I'm noticing improving quality. So this is perhaps a hint towards insist on higher standards. I want to be able to perhaps have some evidence that this individual, when they come and give me their examples about how they have improved quality proactively. So I'm also seeing something around insist on the highest standards here for you, Talha. What else do we have? This is good. Right, so the successful candidate will have strong quantitative and analytical skills. Right, so we have dive deep here, right? So they want to be able to see that you can analyze, which isn't necessarily numeric analysis. They're just talking about analytical skills. So it could be analyzing information that isn't necessarily quantitative information, but they do go on to specify here very clearly they are interested in quantitative. I always struggle with that word, and that's very embarrassing because I'm in marketing and we talk about quantitative and qualitative all the time. So they definitely want someone with numerical analytical skills as well. Okay, and be comfortable working from concept through to execution. All right, so this is about end to end. So again, I would suggest that this is about ownership. They're dropping in some concepts about ownership where you start something and you go all the way through to finishing it. Next sentence then. This position will work closely with partner teams. Okay, so I read this a lot in job descriptions, unsurprisingly, because Amazon is a very matrixed organization. Working closely with partner teams is an absolute earn trust cue. So that's going to be important for you here to understand the business needs and workflows. Okay, so they want you to work closely with partner teams, earn their trust, and understand the business needs and workflows. So I would also suggest for you, Talha, that there is something around the space of learn and be curious. Because to understand the business needs and workflows, you're going to have to understand how do they do things and why do they do things the way they do them. And that is intrinsically what learn and be curious is about. So that's another leadership principle you should be thinking about. Develop and execute the product roadmap. Fine, that's, back to the ownership piece again. Build KPIs and metrics. Again, very much about dive deep. We talked about the quantitative and the analytical skills back up here. We are reiterating it here, right? They're being very clear. You need to build metrics and KPIs, right? They might not necessarily be there already. So they might want evidence of somebody who has previously dived deep, or is it dove deep? Don't know. Either way, and actually created KPIs and metrics. Discover opportunities and present findings and recommendations to business partners and managers. Okay, so possibly if you're looking about discovering opportunities, bit of invent and simplify there. So finding opportunities and then turning them into something, invent and simplify. A qualified candidate must possess strong written and verbal communication skills. We're back to earn trust again. Here we go. I was right earlier. High intellectual curiosity. I don't know why I had such a hard time saying that. Intellectual curiosity. So the word curiosity is a bit of a flag, isn't it? We're back to learn and be curious. So I was definitely right when I spoke about understanding the business needs and workflow, because hey ho, we need it to learn new concepts and methodologies and the ability to adapt and thrive in a fast-paced environment. So you will definitely read this type of thing very regularly in Amazon job descriptions of all job families, and that very much speaks to bias for action. So dealing with ambiguity, being able to pivot and adapt is important for this role, and that very much speaks to bias for action. Okay, so we've got a really good set of leadership principles there. So I'm going to keep it going because sometimes key responsibilities also includes leadership principles. So they want you to develop the overall program strategy, tactically driving teams and outside of the organization to deliver. Okay, so very much deliver results. which we haven't come across yet, have we? If I remember what I've just been running through, well, I do have a memory like a goldfish. So here we've got some reference to deliver results. So they want you to be able to drive other teams in and outside of the organization to deliver. Okay, clarify business procedures and process requirements, set objectives, analyze data, and drive improvements that are quantified with metrics. Okay, so we've probably got another reference to insist on the highest standard here because they want you to drive improvements. And we've got references again to analyzing data, dive deep, drive something, deliver results. You know, those leadership principles that we spotted higher up are being reiterated here. And of course, we have the quantification of metrics. So again, dive deep, quantitative, as we had earlier. Okay, so partner with tech teams to negotiate process improvements. So there we go. We've got the earn trust piece here in terms of the partnering and negotiating. Process improvements, well, it doesn't say whether you're going to identify those process improvements or whether somebody else is, but a little bit higher up, it was certainly talking about understanding business needs and workflows. So process improvements is definitely all around, insist on the highest standards. Okay, need features and their priority. So this, I would suggest, is a little hint towards customer obsession. So what are the features needed by your partner teams? Because don't forget, customer obsession isn't just about the end customer. You definitely, even in supply chain, want to be thinking about and talking about in your interview the end customer. In this instance, it's a grocery customer for Amazon Fresh. But from a supply chain point of view, there are a lot of other people who are going to be your customers from a supply chain point of view. If it's the digital version of Amazon Fresh, of course, you're going to have everybody in the warehouses. You're going to have your category managers. If it's in the stores, yes, of course, it's category managers and all the people in the warehouses. But then you've also got anybody in stores, the store managers, those types of things. So you should be thinking about customer obsession from both of those angles. Okay, partner with teams across the business you support and beyond to source, allocate, and coordinate resources. So again, this is the earn trust space, and they're just being quite specific about what it is you have to do with that earned trust. Manage complex cross-functional programs. So this is a nod to deliver results, because part of deliver results is being able to juggle many things and still being able to deliver. So again, we've talked about that earlier, and it has come back here. Solve ambiguous problems. So it's a nod to both bias for action when we talked about the ambiguity, but solving problems is self-evidently about delivering results and proactively identify and mitigate risks. So again, we're still talking about bias for action in terms of understanding risk, and then mitigating risk is obviously about delivering those results that are risk-free. You manage project communications and may serve as a first point of contact for team projects. So that's not necessarily about leadership principles there. It's just a bit of a practical kind of role scope piece. Okay, so that covers, and then the basic qualifications piece is just kind of the technical part of what your experience needs to be in your technical skills. So that covers off that job description. So let me exit full screen there. So hopefully, Talha, you are paying a lot of attention there, and if not, you can, of course, use the playback. So let me just have a look at other ones that we have here. Oh yeah, I'll leave my screen up. It's easier than changing it left, right, and center. So why don't let's do an HRBP. What else do we have down here? Let me just see. Campaign marketing manager. Okay. Contracts manager. Okay, let's do an HRBP, because I know we do have quite a lot of people join us who are HRBPs. So let me just go back here and type in that number 1753097. HRBP Chattanooga. There's a song about that. I'm sure there's a song about Chattanooga. Okay, so here we go. Oh, this looks interesting. Oh, I like the look of this job description already. Oh, sorry, I need to make that full screen, don't I? All right, this job description sounds fun. A creative person wrote this. So, are you a seasoned HR leader that is adventurous? I'm not sure that's necessarily a leadership principle that I can map to, but maybe think big, but I think they're just trying to make it sound exciting. Innovative. Okay, so, hey, invent and simplify, straight off the cuff. Able to move at the speed of light. Woo! Sounds like a great job description, Christine. I'm so excited. I might apply. No, I won't. I have no HR experience whatsoever. Move at the speed of light, bias for action, right? Bias for action there. And interested in using your HR skills to help evolve the way we serve our customers. Right, so customer obsession. Now, you're in HR. This is HRBP role. So very clearly, customer is going to be at the front and center of this. This is, of course, the internal customer, so all of the employees that you will partner as an HRBP. I've had some great HRBPs in my time, so it's a really important role. But customer obsession, okay, you're definitely going to need to be thinking about customer obsession. Are you interested in being part of an HR organization that operates as a business, starts with our customers and works backward to deliver meaningful products to our business? Okay, so this is, once again, unsurprisingly, customer obsession. And this is almost the purest description of customer obsession that Amazon kind of articulates, that idea of starting with your customer, the employee, and working backwards to come up with products and solutions that work for them. Okay, so still on customer obsession here. Oh, look, and yet we're still on customer obsession. Are you passionate about changing customers' lives for the better? Now, Christine, I'm going to give away at the end of this session my free customer obsession masterclass. You, in particular, need to take that masterclass, okay? Customer obsession looks like it's so important for this role, and there are actually 4 different facets of customer obsession, and you need to make sure you understand all of them and that you have some good examples for all of them. So please don't leave before getting the URL to go and get that masterclass. Okay. Next one. Are you passionate about leading and developing a team of HR professionals? So this is a manager role. So HRBP partner 2. So I think that's an L6. I think it's an L6. So you're going to be a team manager as well. So we're going to have hire and develop the best in here as well. If this sounds exciting to you, well, it certainly sounds exciting to me, then consider joining us. Right, okay. So this is sounding cool already. I'm liking this role. This role will partner with business leaders to develop and execute HR strategies. Okay, so earn trust, going to be really important. And again, I've worked with many HRBPs across my career, and partnership with your customer is so central. Earn trust, customer obsession are very easy and regular bedfellows. So they're very much talking here about that earn trust, because they're talking about the importance of partnership. Okay. So they're giving specifics here about kind of what strategies you're going to be working on. So I'm going to skip that over. Okay. In addition, they will own programs that run across the broader HR team. Okay. So there's an ownership piece here as well. We're going to own programs. I guess the clue is in the word. We're going to own programs that run across the broader HR team. So you also need to think about ownership. Oh, they're now talking about how to be successful in this role. You must understand business priorities and translate them into the highest impact work. Okay, so I would suggest there are 2 things. Sorry, me squeezing my nose out. There are 2 things in this sentence that you want to be thinking about. Bias for action in terms of priorities, but then translating them into the highest impact work. That's deliver results. There's very much an element of deliver results, which is about making the right prioritizations so that you can then deliver the best, most impactful result for your business. So that's in there as well. You will help business leaders look around corners. Right, so this person is literally rewriting some of the leadership principles here for you. Looking around corners on behalf of your customers is, I think, absolutely part of the definition of customer obsession. So here we go again. This is another facet of customer obsession that you want to be bearing in mind, Christine. and then with data-driven recommendations that improve performance, retention, and overall employee experience. So data-driven here as well. So this is very much about dive deep analytics, being numerate and making decisions based on that data. Unlike many other organizations that I have worked in, or that I haven't worked in, yeah, I've worked in a few. Okay, it's not been hundreds, but I've worked in a few. But I can tell you for sure, in Amazon, whether you're in recruiting, whether you're in HRBP, any role, you have to be incredibly data literate. So Christine, please do think about dive deep and bringing examples about how you've used data and your discovery of data and your interpretation of data to support strategies and proposals that you've had in your previous roles. Okay, to succeed, you will need a flexible skill set, okay, including the ability to think strategically. All right, so this is a nod to think big, right? So thinking strategically, kind of up here, but they also want you to execute tactically, deliver results. So also, Christine, I'd be, if I were you, thinking about, can I bring an example where I've had this really, really big, different strategic idea that I've then gone on and implemented. So the bridge between think big and deliver results. And collaborate across many teams, levels, and situations. So hey ho, we're back again at earn trust. All right, so now we're on to the job responsibilities. Lead and develop a team of HR professionals in a high growth, rapidly changing environment. Okay, so we're back again with hire and develop the best. And we're in that rapidly changing environment, which is about bias for action and managing ambiguity. Strong drive to create a positive work environment. So this is interesting. So I would suggest that this is a nod towards strive to be Earth's best employer, a new leadership principle. AWS are very, very overt in how they articulate the strive to be Earth's best employer in their job descriptions. They have a standard, like, big paragraph about it. They're the only team that I've seen, or business unit, they're not a team, it's an entire business unit. They're the only business unit that I've seen so far that actually systematizing and mechanizing, putting it into their job descriptions. Other teams drop in little hints like this. So I would say this is a nod towards that. So you should definitely think about that, Christine. Work an environment which demands strong deliverables along with the ability to identify problems and drive appropriate solutions. So this is dive deep to identify the problems, deliver results to fix them. Maintain internal and external customer service focus. Again, we're back to customer obsession. Understand business goals and recommend new approaches. Learn and be curious. Learn and be curious. Policies and procedures to effect continual improvements. Insist on the highest standards. Continually improving processes, even if they don't look like they need improving. Productivity and development of HR within the company. 5. Understand the entire talent system and each stage of the employee life cycle and apply the understanding to craft integrated solutions that are thoughtful and reinforced by upstream and downstream talent programs. Right, okay, invent and simplify. That's a lot of noise around the idea of you just need to get your head into how things work and then come up with new and interesting, effective ideas. Interface at all levels and trust. So again, you want to be thinking, Christine, about giving examples of where you've built relationships with the most junior members of the organization and the most senior members of the organization. Operate with autonomy and discretion. Okay, so we talked about ownership at the top end of this conversation. Oh, my husband has obviously forgotten that I'm on live. Okay, and discretion, well, it's with the territory, right? HRBP, but discretion, again, I would say is a nod to earn trust. Successfully mentor the pulse of employees to ensure a high level of employee engagement. We're back to strive to be Earth's best employer. Support a 24-hour environment that has multiple shifts and significant staff ramping. Right, so this is just saying that, you know, be prepared to work flexibly, effectively. Okay, and this then reiterates the point that I was saying a minute ago about being able to earn trust at different levels. So they're talking about partnerships with middle and senior management. And then the individual in this role must understand business priorities and translate them to the HR agenda. So we're back to learn, be curious, and diving deep. Okay, so I think that is about it. The basic qualifications, just cover off those. that's it. Okay, so hopefully, Christine, that was useful for you. Again, if you didn't catch it all, you can have a look at it in the replay. That. Let's see, what else do we have here? I think, what's the time now? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one more, and then we'll go into a Q&A. So please, if you're not sharing your job description now, do think about your Q&A questions. What I am just going to do briefly now is pause for a second and ask you to please do me a very big favor. It's not very big, actually, but it's big for me, not so big for you. It's really important that my content shows that it's got engagement, that people like it. So I really would ask you, can you please like this stream right now? If you like the stream, it's a signal to YouTube that my content is good. My content is good. I work hard on it. It signals to YouTube that my content is good, and that obviously drives the algorithm and creates more visibility for my content for both you and other candidates. So in 3 seconds time, I'm just going to ask you to please press the thumbs up button on the stream. Hopefully not too big a ask. And then we can move on with the rest of the show. As if it was a show. I just sung and danced for you. So 3, 2, 1. Like the stream. I think here's my song and dance. Like the stream, like the stream. Please, 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 like the stream, like the stream. How humiliating. I'm so embarrassed that I even did that. So thank you very much. I hate to beg, but I know I do have to remind you all to do that, otherwise everybody forget. So all A, thank you so much. You've done it. My house is on fire. My house is on fire. Are you Scottish? My house is on fire. I wonder. And the Mum 98. Oh, and the Mum 98, you've given me $5. Oh, bless your cotton socks. Thank you so much. I'm very, very grateful. That's really kind and thoughtful of you. Okay, so hopefully you have all liked the stream, and let me do this one more for you, and then I'll go on to Q&A because we've got 22 minutes left. So what I'm going to do is I am going to pick what I know will be a really difficult one to do. The reason why I know it's going to be a really difficult one to do, because I'm going to pick a software development manager role. Now, technical job descriptions tend to have less of the how. So we just looked at a HRBP job description, which was packed full of interesting insight around how this person is going to have to work with their broader organization. When you're talking about technical roles and job descriptions, those managers tend to be a bit more focused on the what rather than the how. If you don't know the difference between the what and the how, I have a good video on my YouTube channel that I put up last week that explains the difference between what and how. So technical roles tend to focus a little bit more on the what, which makes it much harder for someone like me to read between the lines and identify the leadership principles. But it can definitely be done because I do it all the time for candidates. So I'm going to be brave and go to our dev and your software development manager job description. So let me just put the number in here. The other thing I will say to you, our dev, if you haven't already seen it, I have a video that I set live only a couple of days ago with a gentleman called Vivek, who is a software or an engineering leader in Facebook now, but he was in Amazon for just over 10 years. I think he was in Amazon, and we've done a whole video about SDM interviews, what to expect, how to construct your answers, what are the key things that they're looking for. So if you haven't looked at that yet, our dev, please go and check it out. I think it's a really good one. Okay, so let me just make this full screen. I'm going to try and spin through this one a little bit faster so that we have time for Q&A at the end. So okay. Oh, yeah, I can see that big sentence there from that big paragraph from AWS that I was talking to. But okay, AWS has the most service and more features within those services than any other cloud provider. So we've got some spiel here about AWS. Let me just eyeball it quickly and see if there's anything other than spiel in this first paragraph. Okay, no, it has spiel in the first paragraph, so let's go. So now I think we have some content about the actual the commerce platform, which it looks like this SDM is going to be responsible for. So I'm going to eyeball that at the same time as you all do, and we'll see if we come across anything. So okay, so the AWS Commerce Cloud provides the back and front end services that enable AWS customers to purchase AWS services and understand and manage their infrastructure costs. Okay, so the first thing I'm noticing here for you, our dev, is it's a commerce platform. It's a direct to consumer platform, and it enables these customers to do something fundamental for their business, i.e. manage their infrastructure costs. So customer obsession and understanding, oh, I'm so sorry. Understanding your end customer is going to be important for you. So customer obsession is the first leadership principle I'm going to call out. Our teams tackle some of the hardest scalability, performance, and distribution computing challenges in the world. Right. Invent and simplify. When anyone talks to you about scaling and performance, invent and simplify is going to be really important, because as you well know, you can't scale without having efficiency or performance or space, etc. are compromised. So insist on the highest standard. Sorry, invent and simplify. That's what I'm talking about. We process trillions of events per month, okay, using Kinesis. Okay, so this is exactly what's happening. Right, so that's just some information about the AWS products that you're using. We process big data and private tools for customers. Okay, so more just telling you about what it is that they do. Provide the analytics, okay, more about what they do, because we sit at the nexus of AWS services and interact directly with end customers. Yep, so I was right earlier on, customer obsession is going to be really important. And then we've got this little nugget here as well. We also work closely across all AWS teams to ensure you offer a great customer experience. Right, so you're going to need to earn trust because you're working closely across lots of different teams. So far, other than lots of narrative about the actual kind of what they do and the systems that they do it with, we're very much hearing customer obsession and earn trust. Now, this is the big thing that I was saying to you about AWS. This is pretty standard in all, not the hiring in Arlington bit, or Arlington, Virginia, I think is going to be amazing, by the way. That office is just going to be amazing. There's a big old chunk that is very, very standard in all AWS job descriptions now. You are going to be a software development manager. Now, when I see this in job descriptions for software development engineers, I don't think it's going to be that critical in their interview, because they're engineers, they don't lead people. And yes, there is a responsibility that everybody has to making life pleasant for their colleagues. I don't believe that there will be material content in their interview process about strive to be Earth's best employers, but you are going to be a manager. This concept is very important to AWS, or it wouldn't be embedded in every single job description that they have. So I would suggest to you, our dev, you want to think about some examples that you can bring to the party about strive to be Earth's best employer. There's a lot of crossover between strive to be Earth's best employer and hire and develop the best. So if you have examples for hire and develop the best, you can probably very easily use them for strive to be Earth's best employer, or vice versa. But that, I would suggest, is something on top of customer obsession and earn trust that you want to think about. Okay, so let's see what else. Usually the basic qualifications tend to be much more technical when it comes to the AWS job descriptions, right? So here we go. Experience developing the careers of software engineers, hire and develop the best. Deep hands-on technical experience in software design and development. Okay, so this is interesting. So sometimes software development manager roles, as Vivek explains to us in that video, don't require software development skills. This one sounds like it does, but I assume you have them or you wouldn't have made it through to interview. And there we go, solid software development background. Okay, so a strong track record of on-time project delivery for large cross-functional products, deliver results. Okay, so please add on top of customer obsession, earn trust, strive to be Earth's best employer, deliver results. Experience in developing long-term product and technical strategies. I'd still say that was deliver results. Okay, experience in influencing leadership decisions through clear communication and presentation of technical information, both verbally and written. So I would say earn trust clearly on this one, but you might also want to think about have backbone, disagree, and commit. Okay, so that's another one for you to think about. And then this is about your technical knowledge and background. So we're not going to look at that one. And let me just eyeball this and see if there's anything new. No, we've got passion for people management and mentorship. Again, hire and develop the best. Experience in building complex software systems and successfully deliver results. Oh, here we go. Ability to take a project from scoping requirements through to actual launch of the project. So there I would say ownership, from taking something from the very beginning and seeing it all the way through to the end. And then experience in communicating with users and other technical teams and management, etc., etc. Again, we're back to earn trust and being able to communicate to demo non-tech people like me the information that you need to share. I had to work with plenty of software engineers in my time and software development managers, and I have no idea how to write a single piece of code. So you'd have to help people like me understand the decisions that you're making. Okay, so hopefully that one's helpful for you, RDev. Again, please go check out the interview with Vivek. I think it will be really, really useful for you. And hopefully that helps in terms of some of you technical people thinking about the leadership principles. Obviously, if you're on the tech side, you're going to have less leadership principle-based questions in your interview than someone's on the non-tech, because clearly a whole portion of your interview is going to be about your technical skills. But it's still really important. Please don't underestimate the importance of the leadership principles in tech roles. Okay. So I'm now going to jump to a little bit of Q&A. Let me stop sharing my screen now. There we go. I'm going to jump to a little bit of Q&A now, just to answer questions in the final 12 odd minutes. So let me just jump back up and see if there's anything in the queue. Again, obviously this will go live on my channel. It will be available for a replay, so do check it out again. This is the second one I've done, so you can check the first one as well. And if you would like me to help you do your job description deconstruction, you can click on the links in the description and it will tell you how you go about accessing that service. So let me see what questions we have. Okay, yeah, let me do this question. So Stefano, hello, how are you doing? So you are very, very welcome. Do I think that it's wise to apply to many similar positions at Amazon, program manager's role? Is it not well seen at Amazon? It's absolutely fine, actually. So jobs like program management roles, product management roles, software development engineers, software development managers, supply chain management, all of these things, they are skills. They're a particular skills area, and they can be applied to many, many different divisions, business units, teams in Amazon. And it's your skill set. So whether you are interested in being a program manager for Fresh, interested in being a program manager for Prime Video, interested in being a program manager for Prime Air, so on and so forth, the core skills are the same. And therefore, when a recruiter looks at your history and hire and they can see you've had 6 applications for program managers, they're fine about it because they know that's your skill set. You're a program manager, and it doesn't make any difference to you what you're program managing. You just want to be a program manager. They'll be totally cool with that. So I would say it's absolutely fine to apply for multiple program manager roles. What I will say is not a good idea is to apply for multiple roles that cut across different skill sets. So I would suggest that you probably shouldn't be applying for a product manager role, along with a vendor manager role, along with a marketing manager role, along with a supply chain manager role, because they are very, very different skill sets. And if I'm a recruiter and I see someone just effectively throwing mud at the wall, to me, I'm thinking they really are not focused on their career. I'm not sure they're going to take my role seriously over one of these other roles. Is my role just one of those mud flinging and not really the role that they want? So do not do that. Do not apply for multiple different skill set roles, but absolutely no problem applying for multiple roles of exactly the same skill set. Okay. Oh, and I tell you that having had this exact conversation with recruiters. So I'm telling you that's complete gold in terms of accuracy in a response. Okay, what else do we have here? Sorry, I'm reading to see if I can come up with something that is going to be a question that is useful for lots of you. Okay, so Maria, you've got an interview coming up for a marketing specialist. Marketing, best job in the world, other than helping people get into Amazon, obviously. You're gathering your stories, but you have a rather hard time deciding what the strongest ones are. Any tips? I think it's quite intuitive which ones are your strongest stories. You want the stories that you want to tell. The strongest stories are the ones that make you feel really, really proud, and maybe even you surprised yourself when you did these things in your previous role. So I would say your strongest stories are the ones that you look at with the most pride, and probably the ones that you receive the most anecdotal feedback on from more senior people than yourself. Those are the ones that I would say are probably going to be your strongest. Now, what you really want to do, if you can, is understand the key leadership principles that are coming out of your job description, cross-reference them to the strongest stories that you have, and see if you can make those two kind of fit nicely together and have your strongest stories that you're most proud of for the leadership principles that you know are going to be, or you believe are going to be, the most important leadership principles for the role. But don't underestimate the power of your gut, Maria. That's our right a lot. Okay, what else do we have? Highlighter. I'm sorry, I'm picking marketing questions. I'm sorry, I shouldn't do that, but they interest me. It's probably not the best way to do this, so I'll answer this one quickly. Our marketing program and marketing campaign uses interchangeably. For example, content marketing program versus content marketing campaign. Puristically, I would say they're different. So a campaign is a single thing. You set up a campaign to achieve a single objective. You will have multiple campaigns in any particular period. A program is a much bigger concept. You will have a program that will have multiple campaigns in it, along with probably various other initiatives, because it has a larger objective. So you may have I'm going to make this up, you may have a marketing program around sustainability. Well, you'll have all sorts of different campaigns and activities under a marketing program for sustainability. A marketing campaign for sustainability is likely to be a single thread within that program. So maybe that marketing campaign for sustainability is a direct mail campaign or above the line campaign, or maybe it's a specific message within that program that cuts across multiple different channels. That would be my interpretation of it, but of course it's interpretation. So what I would define as being a program and a campaign might be different to somebody else's definition. Okay, let me find something that's non-marketing, because I feel bad now that I've been going on about marketing for so long. Not that it isn't the best job in the world, but you know, sorry everyone else who's not a marketer. Okay, what else do we have? Bye, Mahous on fire. You're off to prepare for your loop. Good luck. Okay, yeah, I'm just going to pull this one up, Ahmed. So you have 4 hours interview this week. Yep, okay. 4 hours interview this week as tech. My question is there any chance they will ask you the same question? All right, so I'm not quite sure what question you're asking me, but I'm going to break this into 2 parts, and then hopefully it will cover off your question. So is there a chance that you will be asked the same question between the early rounds of your interview process and the later rounds? So very, very likely you will be asked questions on the same leadership principles between earlier rounds and later rounds, because what a hiring manager will try and do is establish as high up in the process flow as possible whether someone is likely to raise the bar on the key leadership principles. So the questions that you're asked and the leadership principles you're asked in round 1 and round 2 are big clues to you that they are probably the most important leadership principles for the role, and you should definitely expect to get them again in your final loop if you make it there. Will you be asked exactly the same questions at final loop on those leadership principles as you have in the early rounds on those leadership principles? In theory, you shouldn't, because what's the point in asking someone exactly the same question twice? You're not going to gather new data. You ask the same question, you're going to get the same answer. So in theory, that shouldn't happen because that's a giant waste of time. But in order for that to not happen, your interviewers at loop will have had to have read your notes from the earlier rounds. Now, that is something they are supposed to do, but not everybody does. So there is the risk that you might potentially be asked exactly the same question in loop as you were in earlier rounds. If this happens to you, this is what I recommend you do. You should say to the interviewer, I just want to let you know that I have actually been asked this exact same question in round 1 or round 2, whichever it was. Before I answer it, I just want to let you know that, do you still want me to answer this question? Now, if they say, yes, I do, then answer it again. If you have another example that you didn't use, wonderful, but most people won't. So use the same example. That's my husband arriving. I'm sorry, now my dog's very excited. Very excited. If they say no, I can give you another question. Hopefully they'll do that because it's a waste of time, but maybe they won't. Second part that I said I would talk about, are you going to get exactly the same question between each individual interview in your 4-hour block that you're having? In theory, no, because everyone should be assigned a completely different leadership principle, and they should not be able to ask you the same question because they've got a different leadership principle. However, sometimes questions across leadership principles sound a bit the same to candidates because, of course, they're not as kind of soaked in the leadership principles as I would be or anyone else inside Amazon would be. So it might sound like exactly the same question. So again, I would say to you, just say to your interviewer, I think I might have got this question or a very similar question when I spoke to Bob earlier on today. Just want to let you know that. Do you still want me to answer this question? And again, if they say yes, then answer it again. If they say, hopefully they'll say, actually, no, I've got other questions here that I can ask you, and you can move on with that. Okay, I hope that was helpful. Now we have 2 minutes left. So I'm going to try and answer one more question, and then I'm going to give you the best freebie on Amazon interviewing that you will get. I totally stand behind that. No one gives away a freebie that is as good as this one. Okay, final one. Omi, yes, all job descriptions are written with the Amazon leadership principles in mind. Some are written better than others. Today, I did one for a candidate that was incredibly focused on the actual kind of responsibilities of the role, and there wasn't a lot of the what, there wasn't a lot of how in it, but I could read between the lines for the how. But in the main, they're built around the leadership principles because the jobs are effectively operating around the leadership principles. So they're always in there. Let me see if I can find one more thing. Well, I'm not sure there's anything else here that I will. All right. I'm going to just do this quick one because I know I've answered questions for Talha already, but this is a good one for everybody. What if your strongest stories are non-job related, but address the question? So if you have a lot of career history behind you, I strongly suggest you focus your examples on professional context. The reason being is if you default to something that isn't professional, the immediate flag to me as your interviewer would be, how can this person have demonstrated this thing, this leadership principle, in a non-work context and yet been unable to demonstrate it in a work context to the degree that they can't give me an example? So I would urge caution against using non-work examples unless you have very few career years behind you. You know, if you're a graduate, if you've only had a couple of years work experience, then outside work is fine because you just don't have that career history to pull from. If you've had a career history of anything from kind of 4 to 50 years, and you're finding yourself having to use examples outside of your career, as an interviewer, I'm worried, because why can't you give me the example inside your career? So that's my advice for you there. Okay, so we are now at time. So before we go, firstly, if you have not yet clicked the thumbs up button on this stream, please do. Hopefully it's like milliseconds of your time in return to hours and hours and hours of my investment in this and in you. So please do, if you haven't already. I would be extremely grateful. And I'm now going to give you the best freebie on Amazon interviewing on the web, hands down. Go to, I never get the right end. You'd think I'd get it by now. I've done like 50 of these. Still can't get it. AmazonInterviewWithAcademy.com. There you will find my Customer Obsession Leadership Principle Masterclass, totally free. It will tell you all four facets of customer obsession that you will want to find examples for. It will tell you pretty much exactly what the interviewer is looking for, and it will also show you a mock interview of me interviewing me, so you can see how, first of all, the interview will go, and secondly, and more importantly, how you actually land behaviors in the starry, if you've watched my video on the Hidden Amazon Leadership Principle, format needs to look like in your interview. I give one away because I want everyone to try my content, think it's fantastic, and obviously buy more because I want to feed my children. But I give away Customer Obsession because I can guarantee that every single one of you, if you make it all the way through to Loop and to the end of Loop, that you will be asked a customer obsession question, because as we all know, the goal for Amazon is to be Earth's most customer-centric organization, and therefore customer obsession is #1 leadership principle. So enjoy it. I promise you will all get great value from it, and I will not be chasing you for marketing follow-ups. Most of these freebies I know are given out, and then it's just to get your email address so they can chase you. That's not what I do at this point in time. So please take it, enjoy it completely for free. Okay, so on that note, thank you very much for joining today. I hope the job description piece was useful for you. If you still have Q&A questions that you would like answered, I am back again Wednesday, same time on Wednesday, and we'll just do a pure Q&A session, maybe with just a little topic to kick the whole session off. So until then, any of you that have job interviews, I wish you the very, very best of luck, and stay safe, look after yourselves and your family. Thank you for joining, and please like the stream, like the stream, like the stream.